Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. I am so excited to introduce my guest today. I have with us Ashleigh Van der Hovenwho, the founder of the Alchemy Spirit, who is a spiritual life coach from Cape Town, South Africa, and now living in San Francisco. She helps women to overcome self-doubt, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome to break through to their next level of success so they may do whatever the fuck they came here to do, make a massive impact, and manifest the abundance they deserve for their work. Hi, Ashleigh. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
So, I picked up Ashleigh as a friend on the beach in LA. So, this is just more evidence of how amazing life is going for me out here. It's like just surrounded by so many awesome women. Like, she's a true multi-passionate. Yeah, she does a lot. She's an actress, she's a coach, she's doing so many things. She's really awesome. So, I'm so excited to introduce you to her. And before we like dive in and I ask you all the questions that I have, why don't you tell us like how did you get to where you are today doing your coaching? Like what's your story?
Yeah, what a question. Also just so happy for you and all the things. And for LA is magical. I feel like, yeah, when I'm there, just the shit that unfolds and manifests, it's like there's something going on there. Like
There's
it happens
definitely,
so quickly.
yeah, the vibe, there's real vibes happening over here. I'm
Yeah.
definitely happy
Yeah.
to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so the long and the short of it is I was an actress. I've been an actress for 12 years and I on the brink of turning 30, that first year of COVID, um, I had had some success over the years as an actress. I also studied economics and finance at some point in my early 20s. And then went to an acting academy after that. And then, yeah, had some work, some success as an actress. And then COVID happened and I basically didn't work for almost over a whole year because of the industry shutting down and a myriad of other things that were happening. And I was turning 30 and I was just like really in the throes of my dark night of the soul. I had anxiety. I had like a mild depression. I felt so worthless. I felt like, what have I done with my life? It was like this entire identity crash, ego crash of like everything that I thought my life was going to look like at the age of 30 hadn't materialized. And it's like, computer says no, like it just like shut down. And I was like thrown into this state. And it's so interesting because someone said to me the other day that depression is a lack of acceptance for what is. And I was like, whoa, it's like, no, reality should be like this. No, reality should be like that. And like I was in the throes of that like depression, anxiety, what lacking acceptance for like how my life looked. Yeah, just threw me into that like tumultuous time. And around that time, I'm very lucky because I've got an amazing spiritual mentor and she started to like I didn't even really know that I was depressed at the time and like I got stuck in America for 6 months of that year and I couldn't work and then I got back to South Africa. It was like on a repatriation flight and I kind of hit the ground running. I moved to a new city in South Africa because my partner had a job there and I was just like, oh my God, now I need to work. And I was like trying to get an agent in this new city. And I was again, I'd had quite a bit of success as an actress in South Africa. I thought I would get an agent in Johannesburg, like no problem. No, no one would like accept me. They were basically just like, sorry, it's COVID, yeah, there's no work. And so we're just not taking on new actors at this time. And I started to like couple of months rolled by and I started to really panic and like again just not understanding why, like expecting to be able to get that agent and I couldn't. And essentially what was happening for me was the more things weren't working out, the more worthless I felt inside. Like I had all my worth wrapped up in being an actress and what that should look like. And because that was not manifesting in my reality, I had nothing to place my worth on. So I felt totally worthless. And then the more I felt totally worthless, the more, like depression would seep in and the anxiety, and then I couldn't do anything. And then I'd have like two things to do on one day. And it was like email a new agent and like, I don't know, like send a headshot, which are like the most two basic things. But I didn't even have the vitality to do that. And then I would spend the day berating myself, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't even do two things on your to-do list. Like, what if you actually, and this is you unemployed, what if you even had a job? You can't have a job. Like, it was nuts. So I went through that. That was the dark night of the soul. And I can tell, I've got lots of tools as to how I started to get out of that. But I discovered this mindset and manifestation program for actors with a woman, Wendy Braun, who's amazing. She lives in LA. And I did her mindset and manifestation program. And within 6 weeks, I was the busiest I'd ever been in my entire acting career.
Wow, good testimonial.
And
That's this program.
yeah, yes, she's amazing. I really credit so much of this to her. And yeah, I mean, I can go into like little details, but every limiting belief that I had about why I wasn't where I, wanted to be as an actress was like flipped on its head. All the roles that I got, they were like not stereotypical roles for me. Like it was crazy. And then 3 modules into that course, she has this amazing question, which is, she kind of gets us into this meditative state. And then she's like, if you had $1 million and you couldn't fail, what would you be doing in a year's time? And then she just gets you to write. And so I just wrote. I wrote this whole page and I got to the end and I put my pen down and then I like gasped at the paper. I was like, and I was like, I've not written acting anywhere on this page. And I was like, shit, I better write something for acting. And I think I wrote like write and produce a Netflix series, whatever. Like, I don't even want to do that. But I wrote that down. And the whole page was about helping women, like working with NGOs, traveling the world, um, doing my own thing. But like the core of it really was about helping people. And I'd had this idea to become a coach for a while. And I was like, this is really telling. Like, you need to just get certified and start this business. And yeah, that's what I did. I actually didn't even finish her course. That was there's 6 modules. And after module 3, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go be a coach now.
Wow,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that whole story.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's reminding me of something I was thinking about recently, how I had like the epiphany to become a coach. And I went to I had a similar thing to you, like around the age 30. It was like Saturn's return, where I just got really
Mm.
like sick and depressed. And I was working in film on film crews.
Oh,
And
wow.
I just like couldn't do it anymore. And I knew I wanted an online business. And I think I was already working as a freelance copywriter. And then I had a massage from this like psychic guy, and he was like, you have to go and see this guru, Saima. And he's like, you need like a feminine, like motherly presence in your life. And so I looked up this guru called Saima, and she was doing a darshan in-person event in upstate New York in Albany. And I was living upstate at the time, and I drove like 2 hours to go and see her, and she like blessed me with a peacock feather. And then on the drive home, on like the 2 hour drive home, that's when it just like hit me. And I was like
Oh,
thinking,
wow.
and this is the idea. It was kind of like a lightning strike moment, similar to yours, where it was like, oh, this idea just came through like so strongly. I like have to pay attention to this. And then I went and started my coaching business that year. That's so funny, isn't it?
Amazing. I love that. I love the power of the peacock as well.
The power of the peacock, yeah. And you know how apparently when you wear malas, I was wearing a lot of malas at the time to just kind of, I was like really detoxing and just like clearing and like, emotionally healing. Like my mala that my friend made me broke when I was like on the lineup to go and see her, because apparently when they
Whoa.
break, you're like releasing energy. And I've like fixed so many of my malas. I have a big pile of like half fixed malas that I'm like not wearing anymore. But yeah, that was crazy, a crazy day.
I
So
love that.
I'm
That's
so
very cool.
curious. how has that unfolded for you since you became a coach? Because I know you haven't like completely given up on acting. So what has that relationship between those two parts of your career been like since you became a coach?
Yeah. I mean, it's been so I must say, so that was like just over 2 years ago and 2.5 years ago. And a year of that time, I was stuck in America. So of the last, and I couldn't actually coach or act. So that's a whole nother other story around acceptance and surrender. But how it's like before I left South Africa and now that I'm back, yeah, it's hard. Like I'm in a weird place with it because I love acting. It's been really great that I think the biggest that I love my business so much. I think the biggest realization is I wanted to be an actress since I was like so young, and drama and acting, I was like super ADHD child at school and I was always in trouble, and the only two classes I wasn't in trouble was drama and music. And like I won the best actress trophy at school, and like it was just always this thing that I was so good at, and it was always like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and I'm gonna be an actress. Um and it's like I'm still in the process of figuring out, is that my dream? Is that my calling? Because I'm not very like the process is very hard, right? Like the process of auditioning and um having to always be on call for auditions and not having work, like not having work and then having lots of work. And for sure that is, there's ways to get around that, and I cleared a lot of that mindset stuff in the program that I did, and I work with other actors to do that as well. um but it really is about like, is this truly my heart's desire? And where I'm sitting with it right now is like, my business is about freedom, and freedom is a very, very high value of mine. And looking back over the last 10 years, I wasn't very free as an actress because I always had to be around. I always had to be auditioning. If I went on holiday or vacation, I would be worried, not even that I'm missing work, I'm just missing opportunities for work. So then sometimes I wouldn't like go because I'd be like, well, I need to stay. And what if like I don't know where my next paycheck is coming and I'm gonna stay, but then I could stay for those 2 months and not book a job. So it's like this insanity. I think of like 9 to 5 people and they're like, oh, we also want freedom. I'm like, well, at least when you in your 9 to 5, you make money. Like at least when you don't go on the trip, you like have that security. So yeah, I'm kind of like negotiating what is really important to me. And I think creating the business, the process of coaching, I love every single corner of my business, from the marketing to the coaching to the content creation to like learning about sales um and copywriting. And like I'm just like in love with the process of my business and what I'm here to do. um and so, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with that. And I was telling you before the call, like I am auditioning now, and I went to a callback actually went to an audition the other day, my first audition in a year and a half, and like I did not feel like going to this thing, but I'm a mindset coach. So I was like, no, I need to commit to this, and like it's just the mere fact of me like putting myself out there and being courageous. So I went in. I did not think it was a good audition. And I was like, do I even want to book this movie? It's shooting in December. Like, do I even want it? I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go in. Of course, that's when you get the call back, because I did get a call back. And the irony is like the role was for a content, like a wellness influencer, like a yogi wellness influencer called Boho Gaia.
Oh my God.
I was like, the universe is freaking me out right now. But she's like a total phony, like not like they're actually making a fun of a lot of that space, but it's fine. Like I think it's hilarious. Um, so yeah, I'll see if I book the job or not. But it's such an empowered place to be, to just know like I have two purposes. So yes, acting can be part of my purpose, but my business is where I channel a lot of my like my energy and my just purpose. I think if as an actor, if your purpose is wrapped up in acting, what are you going to do when there's no work?
Hey, I have a really exciting new free series that I want to make sure you know about. It's called Sign Soulmate Clients with Astrology. And I created this because when I work with clients using their astrology charts, they stop trying to sell offers in a way that feels like pushing a boulder up a hill. They start selling what they're really excited to offer. They raise their rates, often doubling them. And soulmate clients start showing up more quickly and easily than ever, which is why I'm so thrilled to share this special 3-part training series with you to show you how to read specific parts of your chart to cut the drama of overthinking your storytelling and your prices and cut straight to the actions and insights that lead to signing soulmate clients consistently with ease month after month. So when you sign up, you're going to get instant access to video number 1, which is all about signing soulmate clients by selling from your sun sign. Video number 2 is about tapping into your sales flow through your second house. And video number 3 is going to show you how to create your unique ritual for consistent clients and money flow. You don't need to know anything more than your birth time, date, and place, and I will show you what you need to know about your birth chart. This is for anyone looking to create a more consistent flow of sales from soulmate clients. And you can find this by going to my website withsarahmac.com under the freebies tab, or by the link in my bio on my social channels. Right, especially with all the recent strikes that have been happening.
Yes.
I know that's been really rough for people. And yeah, I have a lot of friends who are actors, and I my background was in drama and theatre. And I think I'm just a little bit, well, obviously, like, I didn't have the desire strong enough to pursue it professionally, but I definitely think there's a part of me that's too much of a control freak to ever be happy in a career where it feels like so many of the decisions are in other people's hands. And I think that's why I love having a business so much. Like, I know you were saying, even though, it's still not like there's still a lot of uncertainty when you're in business, and you still have to put in the legwork, to build it. But I do like that it feels like if I really want to get more clients, like that's on me and I can do it, like sometimes when I see like people building, like MLM businesses like Beachbody and stuff like that, and I'm like, I feel like it's similar to having a 9 to 5, like when you're putting so much time and energy into other people's and another person's business. I'm like, if you just put all of that time and energy into your own business, like your income will become way more, like a lot more scalable. And I know, there obviously is a lot within your control with acting, but yeah, it definitely seems like, especially as women, although there are obviously a lot more opportunities now and it is improving, but it seems like an industry where, yeah, like it's an expensive art form, like either you're negotiating with the gatekeepers who have the funding, or you have to raise a lot of funding or just work really freaking hard yourself if you want to produce your own stuff and kind of like pave your own way. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, like how your relationship, yeah, it seems like maybe your relationship to acting is like changing a little bit. You're experiencing more frustration, having experienced more fulfillment in your business, or at least it gives you the flexibility to earn money in flexible ways that at least gives you the option to keep performing.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And I'm a very trusting in the universe type of person. And I think the cool thing about acting, especially as a woman nowadays, is like, who knows? Like maybe when I'm in my 50s, that's like gonna be my time to shine, And I'm not as attached to like, oh, it has to look like this and it has to be by this time and that time. And again, the business, like having another purpose for sure is just taken off the pressure from that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really tough industry. And like what you were saying earlier, just acknowledging I don't have like I'm a bit of a control. Did you say control freak? I don't want to put
Yeah.
words in your mouth. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like being true to yourself, And I think a lot of I'm still working through this, so I haven't figured it out. But like, there's this thing of like, oh, it's your dream as an actor, and you've got to want it so hard, and like, you know, that it almost puts like pressure on you to be like live a bit of a sadistic life. And yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be like that, and you can know that there are other things to do, or that it doesn't, yeah, that it doesn't have to be done one way. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's definitely, I see a lot of people who have a background in performance move into coaching because I think, we enjoy it just being able to like turn the camera on ourselves and like share what we really want to share and talk about what we really want to talk
Mm.
about. And just, especially having studied film and just reading story after story, studying female directors and just seeing how like, women's stories just like are considered not so marketable and like there's just so many less funding opportunities that like really demoralized me. And I think that kind of like fueled my love of social media because I'm like, oh my God, like I can have an idea. I started out blogging before I even became a coach or had a coaching business. And it's just so satisfying to me to have an idea, to be able to put it out there, hit publish, and like instantly be able to reach people and, and impact people. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm obviously a very impatient person as well. But, and I think there's so much to be said too for just creatives and in being multi-passionate. Like I'm
Mm.
curious, do you know your astrology chart? Do you know what your 10th house is?
Oh no, not off by heart. Oh, I've got co-star.
Oh yeah,
Would that tell me?
yeah, because mine is in Gemini, which is
Okay.
like, you know, it would be normal. It's normal for me to have two careers or two businesses or like multiple projects, right? And I think that's true of
Okay.
many creative people and something that has helped me that one of my coaches shared was this idea of more is easier. I think sometimes,
Okay.
especially when you're ADD, like I really had a big lack of self-trust in following through because I really used to be like that. I used to be so
Mm.
excited by so many things, take on way many two things, and then not actually complete or like follow through
Mm.
on things. And it took a lot of kind of training and organization and focus for me to have an idea and really, like say no to things so that I could bring that idea through to fruition. So I often feel the push and pull between like, oh, I can't say no, I can't take on too much because I'll burn out or I won't complete or I'll be kind of self-sabotaging by having my finger in too many pies without ever really bringing an idea to
Mm.
fruition. But at the same time, sometimes, it's like that's not really true for me anymore. I think I've learned to prioritize like no more than three kind of major projects at once. But then on the other side, sometimes saying yes to something that feels really inspiring or like is just for fun or is just like really calling you can energize you in a way that uplifts all of your other projects. So sometimes, instead of trying to be super tunnel vision and focus and like forcing one thing, I find when you
Mm.
allow yourself to play and explore in other projects and say yes to a few different directions, sometimes that can actually bring so much more energy and kind of take you out of the way I think of it is like helicopter parenting. Because I feel like
Mm.
I got really like that with my business in the pandemic. I'm sure a lot of people felt like that when there was like nothing else to focus on. And I'm like, I'm going to do a rebrand. I'm going to organize everything in my back end and like make my business the best it can be. Because I'm like, I was literally like isolating for 2 weeks in Canada multiple times when I was doing border dashes. But it's like my creativity dried up so fast when I was just like
Mm.
so focused. So I think there's definitely a lot to be said for having multiple avenues of income and multiple, even career directions.
Totally. Totally. I love that you said that. And again, like just going back yeah, I love that you said it's like just trusting that if you are a multi-passionate person, that it's there for a reason and it can be a source of great creativity. And then you can also have a healthy dose of self-awareness and self-mastery around like when does that become self-sabotaging? When does that become destructive? And just like learning to navigate that. And then it can be a superpower.
Totally. Did
Yeah,
you look up your 10th house?
I did. I think maybe you'll have to look. Is
Uh,
it in Taurus?
yeah, Taurus.
That's interesting. Moon and 9 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and Taurus is very like slow and steady wins the race, and it is about beauty and art and the voice. So yeah, maybe your acting career, like you said, it's funny that you said that too, right? Sometimes we have a feeling about these things, like maybe it's going to really flourish later in my life. And
Hmm.
I just because I
Oh,
kept going
I
and I
like
stayed
that.
in it.
Yes. Yes. I
Like
love
the
that.
fact that you really had this pull to pursue this business, and it's not a small thing to like start a business and a coaching business, because it does take a lot of dedication. But that's what I love about coaching businesses, is like it takes full focus and dedication, but it can require actually a very small number of hours each day
Mm,
to maintain it.
mm.
If you're focused and you're consistent, you can like
Yes,
do a couple calls a week, do some content
totally.
creation each week, and then you really do have a lot of freedom and flexibility to cultivate
Mm,
other things once you've got that momentum going. And um so yeah, and the fact that that you're not willing to completely let go of the acting. So
mm.
both things have a place, and yeah, obviously they're feeding each other. And the fact that you're supporting actor clients, like, I'm curious if any of your actor clients, are you working just with on their acting career, or are you helping them to like create some type of another income source in like a different modality or anything like that at all?
The one is just purely acting. And then it's funny you said that because the other one today mentioned to me, and I knew it was coming, but she wants to have like a course on the side, and I'm actually going to be helping her with that as well. She's also like a content creator. So she acts, content creation, presenting, and now she wants to start a business. Yeah.
Love that. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
the skills are already there, to be able to write and communicate, move people,
Totally.
connect people. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to add a little bit of sales and marketing to be able to monetize
Mm.
that and like make really good money from your creative skills.
Yes. Yes.
Like I built
Yes.
my whole business on the skill of copywriting and just working on my money mindset. I had no other business skills, and that was enough to get me to six figures in my coaching business within a year of launching it. You know,
It's
it's not,
amazing.
it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to go to school, you don't have to
No,
MBA. Like you already
no,
have so many skills that if you can just find a way to really value them and talk about them and connect with the people who could use them, you can make money and support
totally,
yourself.
totally. And I feel like actors, I always tell people this because I'm very good at social media and like just content creation and showing up. And people are like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, 10 years ago, when Instagram was like a thing, I was going to actors workshops and how we had to like make Instagram work for us as actors. And I threw my tantrum back then about having to show up online, and I got over it like 10 years ago. And so yeah, I've just been practicing showing up online, putting myself out there for like however many years because of my acting career. So it's so transferable. And yeah, like you said, you can have such a simple setup in a business or a course or whatever and make fucking six figures is not hard to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like with the right things in place, you don't have to have something magical. I'd even say like maybe $1 million is not hard to make, but yeah, that maybe is a little bit. But yeah, 6 figures a year, it's not hard.
But it's possible, right? Like it's like when I meet someone like you, like I know I'm capable of having a seven-figure year in my business if I want to.
Mm,
And I do want to. And I know that you're capable. Like, I've worked with enough coaches, I've seen enough business models, like I've had worked with enough clients to see how it's possible.
mm.
And like, how cool is that? You know?
So cool. I definitely, just to be clear there, I definitely believe in it for myself and for you. But what I was saying was like, you can have a very simple get up for 6 figures or multiple 6 figures. But then also I look at like someone like Melanie. Do you know Melanie Ann there?
Yeah.
I know yeah. So she's like just had a Facebook group, and she, for 8 years, she made 7 figures, and all she had was a Facebook group,
Yeah.
pretty much,
I love her
and no
story.
website,
She
and like
went
two
from
people.
sleeping in her car to making $70 million within like I don't know, 5, 6 years, something like that,
Yeah.
something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Just using social
Crazy.
media.
Just using a Facebook group, literally. And like
Yeah.
Instagram came years later.
Mm-hmm.
No website, word of mouth, referrals, affiliates.
She should start her own film production company
Yeah.
with all of that
Have you
money.
seen her master classes? Have
Which
you done
ones?
them? Well, like, you know, in the beginning, she always has like
Oh, yeah, she has her like
a
trailer
graphic.
that she's
It's so
designed.
sick. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is so cool.
Yeah, she's just creating for herself, like just
Yeah,
playing. And she has a whole team to help her, and she's just doing whatever the fuck she wants to do. And she just is her own
yeah,
media channel. It's amazing.
it is very cool.
Keep talking to you for
Yeah.
hours and hours, but I know that this conversation, I hope, will have just like, just opened up some possibilities, and especially for
Mm.
people who, yeah, like when you're a creative, I think so often we're like, oh, it has to be either or maybe you've like given up on something, or thought like, if I want to change, then I have to let go of something. And I just think, yeah, it's such a great conversation to just
Mm.
remind ourselves that, like, yeah, we can have it all, and we can do exactly what the fuck we want to do, and we can maybe not do all of
Yes.
it at the exact same time, but a lot of it is possible if you allow yourself to flow with it, and yeah, keep things simple and stay focused, and of course have support to get over ourselves when we're overcomplicating or caught in those moments of despair
Mm.
and not seeing a path forward. So I would love,
Yeah.
please tell anyone who's like really resonating with your story and wants to learn more about
Mhm.
to work with you, and find out what you're up to, where can they find you?
Yes. I wanted to say one last thing there before I say that is my advice for creatives or actors is like I think they get stuck in like, oh well, I should be putting this time into making a short film or writing a script or whatever. And like my biggest piece of advice is if it does not excite you, if it does not bring you joy, if it feels like a should or a to do, don't fucking do it because you will burn your energy out there. And like for the acting, when I manifested all that work, it was because I took a break. I focused on joy as like my core vibration in the simplest of ways. And that is when I'm most magnetic. And it's the same for my business. Like as soon as I start working too hard in my business, things slow down. And then as soon as I take a step back and I make space for like joy and I start crossing off all the shoulds or whatever, that's when magic happens. So yeah, actors, don't be afraid of like doing things outside of, not everything has to make, you don't have to bleed from your eyeballs in order to be a successful actor. Like you'll be fine.
I love that slogan.
Um yeah, so I'm on Instagram, the alchemized spirit with a Z or a Z. And yeah, you can find me. That's the best place to find me. Everything is on there. Go have a sift through the link in my bio. I've got a podcast on there. I've got a great free workbook for people struggling with self-doubt and imposter syndrome, which God, yeah, actors need that as well.
And what's the name of your podcast?
um, it's the the alchemized spirit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely go check that out, everybody. And if you know someone who would benefit from this conversation, please forward this and leave us a review on iTunes to help more people access this content. And thank you so much for being here and listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com, and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.